The movie begins in a Spanish city descending into chaos due to a sudden global shortage of resources and food. Several governments, including Spain, decide to reduce the population by getting rid of children and pregnant women. Because of the government's cruelty toward its people, a group of citizens decides to escape the country and head to Ireland. They choose to migrate illegally using cargo ships. Among this group is a married couple named Nico and Mia. We see them trying to escape the police who are arresting people attempting to leave. They meet one of the smugglers who helps people travel illegally and ask him to arrange their passage with the captain of a cargo ship. Nico pays him so that he and Mia can ride inside cargo container number 100, which is headed for Ireland. Nico tells him they have no extra money to give, but the captain insists. Nico then turns to Mia and asks her to hand over her wedding ring. She refuses, saying it's their wedding ring and the only thing left after the authorities took everything from them. Mia reluctantly gives him the ring, and Nico returns to the captain with it. They set off, and when they reach the ship, Mia realizes they'll be hiding inside a cargo container. Inside, they find many other people, most of them pregnant women and children. Mia removes the cloth she had wrapped around her belly to hide her pregnancy, fearing someone might harm her. She is anxious for her unborn child and asks Nico if Ireland's system is just as cruel. Nico tells her that Ireland has always opposed such policies and never followed other countries' example. Mia worries that eventually any government could give in to such measures, but Nico insists they will be fine. They then see one of the guards take a traveling girl's phone. This frightens Mia even more. She tells Nico she hasn't felt the baby move for 2 days, which worries him deeply. When Mia sees a small child with their parents, she remembers her daughter and feels immense sorrow that she's not with them. Nico reminds her that the authorities already took their daughter away, and she's probably dead now. Suddenly, they hear loud noises outside the container. The doors open and a large group of people trying to board rushes in. The captain and his men raise their guns and fire shots in the air to scare them off, saying the container is now overcrowded and some must move to another container that hasn't arrived yet. Nico is forced out at gunpoint, despite his protests that his wife is inside. Mia panics and tries to open the door, but it's difficult. She spots a hole in the container and sees Nico being loaded into container 107. She pulls out a hidden phone and calls him. Nico answers, assuring her he's fine. Mia says she's scared and doesn't want to be alone. He warns her not to trust anyone, promising to meet her once they arrive and to call her regularly. Mia doesn't want to hang up, but Nico says his phone battery is low. The truck carrying Mia's container heads to the port. Through the hole, Mia sees police violently beating people, taking their children, and even killing pregnant women who refuse to obey. At the port, one woman inside warns everyone to hide in the secret compartment of the container. Mia peeks out to see what's happening and notices police opening every container before loading them onto the ship. She hides with the others. A policeman enters to inspect, finding it empty. The hidden passengers hold their breath. The officer then orders someone to fire a bullet at the container wall. When the bullet doesn't penetrate, he realizes part of it is hollow. Speaking to them, he claims he knows they're hiding and promises safety if they come out. No one responds. He then threatens to kill them if they don't. One pregnant woman, believing him, opens the door. The policeman immediately shoots her, then orders his men to kill everyone inside. They massacre the group. Mia is in complete terror, surrounded by bodies, regretting she couldn't save the woman who had trusted her. The police dispose of the corpses and clean the container. After they leave, Mia sends Nico a voice message, warning him to hide because the police are killing escapees in the containers. Her container is loaded onto the ship. Time passes with no word from Nico. She tries calling again, but his phone is off. She tells him in a message that she's on the ship and worried. Mia finds a bag from one of the dead passengers and opens it, finding a drill, flashlight, and a small phone. She turns on the flashlight for light, then rests. Later, a violent storm hits. The ship rocks violently, tossing containers around. Mia cries out for help, but no one hears her. She's thrown against the walls, clutching her belly in pain. A massive wave knocks the container over. She hits her head and passes out. When she wakes, the storm has passed, but water is seeping inside. Looking out the hole, she realizes she's adrift in the middle of the sea. The container has fallen off the ship. Her phone is water-damaged and broken. She tries the small phone from the bag, but it's locked. After guessing several codes, she unlocks it, but there's no signal. Searching through other containers, she finds clothes, headphones, and bottles of alcohol, but no food or drinkable water, except for a small amount that won't last a day. She finds her diary with photos of her husband and daughter, which fell in the water. Looking out, she sees another container sinking, number 107. Panicking, she calls for Nico and tries his phone, but it's still off. She cries hysterically, believing he's dead. In despair, she decides to end her life with a knife she found in the bag. But then she feels the baby move, realizing she hasn't lost the child. Overjoyed, she abandons the suicide attempt. The next day, water inside rises higher. Mia uses a hose from one of the boxes to scoop water into plastic bottles and empty it outside. She keeps trying to call Nico. This time he answers briefly, explaining the captain tricked them. He never put them on any ship. He asks where she is, and she tells him the ship she was on sank, and she's now floating alone in the sea. Nico vows to save her. Dark clouds gather, and another storm hits. This time, Mia goes into labor. In agony and fear, she delivers a baby girl who isn't breathing. Panicking, she slaps her gently until the baby cries. Relieved, she saves the placenta in a container. The next day, the baby cries uncontrollably and refuses to breastfeed. Mia decides to drill through the container roof for ventilation and light. At night, the baby finally sleeps after feeding, and Mia eats the last sandwich and tuna. The next day, she continues drilling, but the drill battery dies. She tries using the knife but is too weak from hunger and cold. That night, her stomach cramps from starvation. Without realizing, she eats part of the placenta to survive. Hearing whale sounds, she peeks out to see it swimming nearby. The whale's tail strikes the container, shaking it violently and terrifying her baby. She soothes the infant, then resumes work the next day. The knife breaks and her water runs out. She vomits, grows delirious from dehydration, and hallucinates seeing her daughter accusing her of leaving her behind. She apologizes and imagines Nico holding her. Rain finally comes, and she collects it in bottles. Using the ropes from the cargo bindings, she pries open the roof hatch and climbs out with her baby into the fresh air. She throws the baby's soiled cloth into the sea, noticing fish gather around it. She tries fishing with a makeshift hook from a piece of metal tied to headphone wires but fails. Spotting a plane overhead, she rushes to get a shard of glass from a broken TV to reflect sunlight, cutting her leg badly on exposed metal in the process. She sterilizes the wound with alcohol and stitches it with wire, enduring immense pain. The next morning, she ties the wires together to make a fishing net. Throwing the baby's diaper into the water, she successfully catches a fish and devours it. 9 days have passed since she fell into the sea. She writes pleas for help on paper, seals them in bottles, and throws them into the water. Her phone has dried, but the touchscreen is broken. She waits for Nico's call. By day 12, nothing has changed. One night, her baby coughs violently from the cold. Mia burns a piece of cloth inside a metal jar for warmth. Her phone rings, it's Nico. She climbs to the roof for better signal. His voice is weak. He says he can't come for her as promised. He's been shot by police while trying to escape to find her. He called to say goodbye. Crying, Mia tells him about their daughter and lets him hear her voice. Nico describes her as being safe in her mother's arms before the line cuts out. Mia breaks down, devastated. By day 23, Mia builds a small raft from wooden boards of the containers to place her baby on when the container sinks. The water is already filling it. She dives in to retrieve her photos and diary, but her leg gets tangled in ropes and fabric. She frees herself and searches for her baby, following her cries. The next day, she pours leftover fish into the sea to attract seagulls, hoping someone will notice. A family on a fishing trip spots the birds gathering around the small raft. Approaching, they find a baby tied to it with a long wire. They follow the wire to find Mia, unconscious from exhaustion and near drowning. The couple rescues her, performing CPR. They assure her that both she and the baby are safe. Mia is weak, in shock, silent, and stares at the sea in disbelief that she and her child survived after all this time, crying in relief.